There's this massive, powerful river that's absolutely essential to our survival. And it's flowing right under our feet, almost completely out of sight. It's America's hidden river. And honestly, it's in deep, deep trouble.
Just get your head around that number for a second. 85 billion gallons every single day. That's the river we're talking about. It's flowing out of our treatment plants, off our farms, through our city pipes. And it's not just waste, you see. It's a resource.
And that's the big question, right? If this resource is so incredibly valuable, why is the system we built to manage it so completely and utterly broken? That's what we're going to dig into in this explainer.
To really find the answer, we've got to look back in time. See, the problem isn't that we're lacking some new fancy technology. It's that we're trying to run our 21st century water needs on a system, a governance structure that was designed for the early 1900s.
Our system was basically built for a totally different world, facing totally different problems. We're talking about rapid industrial growth, the Great Depression, times that called for centralized control. So Congress created all these specialized agencies, each one designed to tackle just one specific problem. And here's the key. They were built to be rigid, to be unchanging, for a world that everyone thought was going to stay predictable.
And all that rigidity, well, it's led us straight into the huge mess we're in today, fragmentation. Our system is shattered into a dozen or so disconnected pieces that just don't talk to each other, which means the whole thing is actually less effective than all its individual parts.
So think about it like this. We manage drinking water in one silo, over here, and wastewater way over there, and stormwater in a completely different building. Each of these groups developed its own mission, its own set of rules, heck, even its own language. They were built to solve one little piece of the puzzle, and they were never designed to see the whole picture.
And this quote just nails it perfectly. This isn't just about bureaucracy, it's a knowledge problem. You have all these islands of knowledge, and each one is fiercely protecting its own turf, its own mission, and they rarely ever connect, even though they're all surrounded by the exact same water.
So this old, fragmented, clunky system is now slamming headfirst into a 21st century reality. The time when we could afford to just ignore this problem, that's over. We are at a tipping point, and the costs of doing nothing are going up, and they're going up fast.
And look, this isn't just a local problem, it's global. Experts are projecting a mind-boggling 40% gap between the water we have and the water we need by 2030. Now, what this chart is really screaming at us is that water scarcity isn't just some regional issue anymore. It is becoming a major threat to the entire planet's economic stability.
Back here at home, it's not just one thing going wrong. It's like a perfect storm. We've got climate change causing all this extreme weather. Our aquifers, our underground water savings accounts, are running dry. We've got these forever chemicals showing up everywhere, and our pipes are literally crumbling beneath our streets. These aren't separate issues. They're all connected, and they are converging into a direct threat to our national security. And here's the bill. The price tag for just kicking the can down the road? Get this, $3.7 trillion. That's what we need to invest over the next 2 decades just to keep the current system from totally collapsing. A number that big is telling us one thing loud and clear. Our fragmented system is now just impossibly expensive.
All right, so that's the bad news. So what do we do about it? Well, it's going to take a really fundamental shift in how we think about water. It's a concept called the one water paradox.
Here's the absolute game changer. For over a century, we've treated used water like it's a liability, something gross you have to just get rid of. The one water idea flips that completely on its head. It says every single drop, whether it's stormwater or farm runoff or what goes down your drain, is all part of one single, incredibly valuable asset that we should be managing intelligently.
And to do that, you can't use the old rule book. We have to ditch that old-school industrial thinking, the top-down, command and control way of doing things that just focused on pipes and treatment plants. The future has to be networked, it has to be collaborative, and it has to focus not on concrete, but on knowledge systems that can actually learn and adapt.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds great, but maybe a little ambitious. So how do we actually build this new architecture? How do we get from a bunch of soloists playing in different rooms to a full-on symphony?
Well, the wild thing is, we've actually done this before. Back in 1972, our rivers were literally catching on fire. The crisis was impossible to ignore, and the country came together and passed the Clean Water Act, a massive, nationwide, systemic overhaul. It's proof that when the stakes get high enough, radical change isn't just possible, it happens.
So the playbook for today can be broken down into 3 pretty clear steps: And it can be led by the very people who run our water systems right now. Step 1, get everybody in the same room. Utilities, regulators, farmers, scientists, everyone. Step 2, create a common language, so those islands of knowledge can finally start talking to each other. And step 3, use that new shared understanding to design the new unified system together.
Now, the secret ingredient here, the thing that makes this whole symphony work, is a concept from sociology called bridging social capital. Just think of it as building actual bridges between all those isolated islands of knowledge. It's about deliberately creating networks and relationships that allow a shared purpose, a collective intelligence, to bubble up from all that scattered expertise.
And here's the huge advantage we have now that we didn't have in 1972. Today, we have this incredible arsenal of modern tools. We've got digital platforms to help us collaborate, AI that can spot patterns we'd never see, and new techniques like structured democratic dialogue to make sure every single voice gets heard. We even have new ways to finance this thing, to make that huge investment actually achievable.
So, let's recap. We've got the history lesson that proves it can be done, we've got a clear roadmap, we've got all the high-tech tools, but all of that means absolutely nothing without the one final and most crucial ingredient.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The future isn't some solo performance by one government agency. It has to be a symphony, a coordinated performance by an entire ensemble of players. Utilities, regulators, farmers, industries, and of course, all of us, our communities.
And that's really where we stand. The technology is there. The knowledge is there. The economic reasons are certainly there. The crisis has arrived, and it's created the perfect moment for change. The only thing missing is our collective will to pick up the baton and actually conduct the symphony. The question is, are we ready?